conflict.
And just have joint representation, much like we just did with our attorney.
So the issue, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Harper, but the main issue is that this case is a criminal case versus
How do you know?
a civil case. You told us it was.
I told you it was a criminal case.
You told us it was the state police is investigating you.
So how do you know? How do you know it's criminal or civil before there's actually an adjudication?
Because the state police doesn't do civil cases.
But the state police hasn't found anything yet, right? I mean,
What I'm saying is, you're saying the state police is conducting an investigation. They're issuing subpoenas. They don't do civil investigations, so it's a criminal matter.
But it may be no matter.
It may be no matter. It may be no finding. It may be a charge.
So then it's not criminal until they say it's criminal, right? I mean, again, I'm not a lawyer.
This is the argument that everyone's. This is the argument that's at court. Is the issuing of a subpoena an action or not? That's one of the issues.
Very clear in the indemnification that the people who wrote and put that into our charter and code contemplated and provided expansive coverage for all situations. That is the position that the city has taken.
That is the position.
In responding to the court.
I wholeheartly agree.
We're not arguing about that.
We're not.
We are covered.
No, we're not arguing about that. But the city's position. No, we're not. I'm just trying to explain. The city's position is that it is expansive, our code, and can cover civil and criminal matters. The lawsuit says, well, the state law says you can't do that. And that's what's in conflict. That's what's before, besides other things, but that's what's before the judge. My understanding of Mr. Harper, he asked for an opinion from the controllers, and the controllers said, we need to wait for the decision from the judge. They're not going to issue an opinion until the judge makes her opinion. That's my understanding. That's my understanding. Do you want to clarify that, Mr. Harper, or is that correct? Okay.
And again, our position is our law covers everything, correct? Thank you.
No, I'm just explaining what is at matter here with the lawsuit.
We're being challenged by people who I think have very, very, very questionable motives. And this is entirely political. And these gentlemen continue to waste the city's time and money over and over and over again. Those two gentlemen, Mike Brandy and Chris Starchik, sued the city over a timeliness issue related to a FOIL disclosure, and then saw excessive remuneration. Excessive remuneration. They were scolded by the judge and had their ask reduced over 80%. That shows me there is not well-intended actions there. That shows me that this person is a grifter. Because I would love to know what was so important that they pulled out of that FOIL that it was worth everybody's time. And again, that excessive money grab. My answer is there was nothing real. There was nothing to that other than these people trying to grift and take money from taxpayers. And I'm going to keep saying it because these people have a political agenda. They continue to sue over every little thing. And frankly, people can sue. We've talked about that. The question is, just because you can, should you? The answer is no. You're wasting our time. The Republican committee is wasting our time. The mayor even said so himself. So, again, appreciate the differentiation you're trying to shoot. I reject that. These people really, really, really need to stare in the mirror and understand what the hell they are as citizens.
So just let me continue to explain that. So the state politicians who've been arrested on criminal charges, they end up paying their own legal fees, and if they're acquitted, they get reimbursed. And if they're not charged, and it happens all the time, then they get reimbursed. Exactly. That's the argument in court. I'm not taking the sides. That's what the judge should decide, and I'd be hopeful that she would decide rather quickly because it's a temporary restraining order.
I agree with you. And again, there are no criminal charges. So if there are criminal charges, that's, I think, a different issue than an ongoing investigation where there are no charges yet.
I don't think that's different, because you could have a criminal case, a lot of people are never charged. They pay out of their own money, and then after they're not charged, they ask for that reimbursement. All we're talking about is are we getting do you have to pay up front yourself and get reimbursed if there's no finding?
That's not what the word indemnification means.
That's but we're talking again about a civil case versus a criminal.
You keep putting forward a counter argument to what the city's position is.
I'm not putting, our city's position is clear, that our city code is more expensive. I'm just explaining what is at the judge's, in her lap right now.
Swore an oath to fulfill the responsibilities of office relative to the charter of the city of Saratoga Springs.
Sure, I understand that.
We're going to continue to do that.
So that's the end of my agenda.